Paranormal versus science. The truth about human combustion. Picture this. It's 1951 in St. Petersburg, Florida. A landlady goes to deliver a telegram, but when she touches the doorknob to her tenant's apartment, it's alarmingly hot. When she finally gets inside, she finds, well, not much. There is a pile of fine ash, a single slippered foot, and, according to the more sensational reports, a mysteriously shrunken skull. The tenant, Mary Reeser, had been almost completely incinerated. The truly bizarre part, the rest of her apartment was barely singed. To believers, this was a terrifying open and shut case of spontaneous human combustion. But scientists? They say the real explanation was hiding in plain sight all along. So, which is it? A paranormal firestorm or some seriously grim physics? And Mary Reeser's story is hardly the only one. For centuries, we've heard tales of people found as little more than a pile of ash, while things around them, furniture, even a newspaper, are strangely undamaged. The paranormal explanation is tantalizing. The idea that some kind of force builds up inside the body until it just bursts into flame. Is it a freak chemical reaction? A buildup of mystical energy? Believers point to these scenes and say, see? A normal fire just doesn't do that. And it's not just ancient history. In 2010, the death of 76-year-old Michael Faraday in Ireland was so strange that the coroner, unable to pinpoint a specific cause for the fire, controversially concluded that the death fits into the category of spontaneous human combustion. So what do forensics experts say when they arrive at a scene like this? They're not looking for ghosts. They're looking for a pattern, and more often than not, they find one. The leading scientific explanation isn't a paranormal blast, but a process known as the wick effect. And it's basically like turning a person into an inside-out candle. Stay with me here. It often starts with an external flame, maybe a dropped cigarette or a spark. This small fire ignites the person's clothing, which acts like a wick. As the body heats up, its own fat can melt and soak into the cloth, providing a slow-burning, continuous fuel source. This creates a low, smoldering fire that can go on for hours, consuming the body without generating huge, destructive flames that would burn down the whole house. It's also why the victims are often elderly, have mobility issues, or are smokers. They might be unable to react to the initial small flame that started it all. Case closed, right? Well, not for everyone. Believers in SHC argue the wick effect just doesn't cover all the bases. They often point to the heat, asking how a living room fire could generate the temperatures needed to turn bone into ash. They'll say, a crematorium needs over 1,400 degrees Fahrenheit to do that, but that comparison is a bit flawed. Modern crematoriums use temperatures between 1,400 and 1,800 degrees Fahrenheit to speed up the process. But what's left of the bones is then mechanically crushed into the ash we recognize. A slow, long-burning fire can, over many hours, reduce bone to a brittle, crumbly state without needing to reach those intense temperatures. Still, what about the cases where investigators swore they couldn't find any ignition source at all, like with Michael Faraday? For those who believe there is more to the story, these lingering questions are everything. So, where does that leave us? On one hand, you have the wick effect, a grim but scientifically sound explanation that seems to tick most of the boxes. On the other, you have these outlier cases and nagging details that keep the mystery alive in our imaginations. Is spontaneous human combustion just a misunderstanding of a natural, if gruesome, process? Or are there still pieces of the puzzle we haven't found? The debate is certainly heated. What's your take? Is science the final word, or is there something more going on? Drop your theory in the comments, and make sure you follow us for more investigations into the world's strangest mysteries.